everybody, it's Maddy here. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to crochet these beautiful ruffled looking flowers. I don't know what to call these because I am not a flower expert, but I like to call it kind of like a fluffy, frilly flower. It's just really pretty. This pattern is also good if you want to make a flower that looks like this. It'll use the same pattern. You'll just glue it together differently. This one's more of a swirl pattern rather than the crinkled version. It just depends on what you like. Also, this is a no-sew pattern, which I love. We're going to be using hot glue to glue everything together. Also, for those of you who like written patterns, I do have this pattern on my Etsy store, and I'll make sure to link that in the description if you want to check that out. Anyway, let's begin crocheting. The type of yarn I'm going to be using today is going to be a medium weight acrylic yarn, and then with that I'm going to be using a 5mm sized crochet hook. Now, if you have a different type of yarn that you prefer to use, you can go ahead and use that. Just make sure that you're using the recommended size crochet hook for the type of yarn that you're using, because you can make these flowers with whatever type of yarn you'd prefer. To begin making your flower, we're going to start off by making a slip knot. Now, to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take that tail end of our yarn and we're going to hold that in our left hand, and then with the long strand here, we're going to cross it over to make a loop like this, and then from here we're going to stick our fingers through the loop and we're going to grab that long strand here, and we're going to pull that out of the loop like this. And then holding both of these two strands of yarn, we're going to pull that all the way tight so you have this little slip knot there. And then grabbing our hook, we're going to place that loop on our hook like this. And then when you pull on your long strand that's connected to your skein of yarn, it should tighten up that slip knot just like this. And now we're ready to begin crocheting. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off by chaining 24. Now, to do a chain, what we're going to do is we're going to take our hook, we're going to yarn over, so take our hook, go underneath the yarn here, and pull it up like this so you have another strand of yarn on your hook. And then from here, we're going to take our hook and we're going to pull that strand of yarn through the loop we have in our hook like this. And we're going to pull it all the way through, just like that, to make one chain. Let's go ahead and make another chain, and again to do that, we're going to start off by yarning over. So we're going to take our hook, we're going to go underneath the strand, and wrap it around like that. So you have that strand of yarn on your hook, and then we're going to pull that through the loop we have on our hook, just like that, to make two chains. Let's make another chain. So we'll yarn over and then pull that through the loop we have on our hook. So there's 3, yarn over and pull through. There's 4, yarn over and then pull through. 5, yarn over, pull through, and then there's 6 chains. You can also count the chains as well if you lose count while you're chaining. So as you can see, this is 1 chain, 2 chain, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you ever lose count, that's an easy way to count your chains. So I'm going to go ahead and finish making all 24 of the chains, just yarning over and pulling through to make your chain. And then once I finish all 24 chains, I'll show you what we're going to do next. Alright, I just finished all 24 of the chains, and now we're going to begin on that first row. Now for this row, what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 double crochet and then 1 triple crochet in one of these chains. And we're going to start by working in the 4th chain from the hook. So we're going to count down 1 chain, 2 chain, 3, and 4. So in this chain, in that 4th chain from the hook, we're going to start off with our double crochet. Now to do a double crochet, what we're going to do is we're going to take our hook, we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to place our hook through that 4th chain. So right in here, just place your hook through the chain. After that, we're going to yarn over again. So yarn over, and then we're going to pull that strand of yarn out of our chain. So pull that out like this. So we just pulled our hook out of the chain, and at that point, you should have 3 loops on your hook. From here, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through 2 of the loops on our hook. So 1 and 2. After you do that, you should be left with 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops to finish our double crochet. Now as you can see here, we have those chains we didn't work in and then our double crochet. Now after you finish your double crochet, we're going to make a triple crochet into that same chain that we just worked that double crochet into. Now to do a triple crochet, what we're going to do is we're going to take our hook and we're going to yarn over not once but twice. So you're going to yarn over twice so you have 3 strands of yarn on your hook like this. And then from here, we're going to take our hook, we're going to place it through our chain, the one we worked that double crochet into, and then we're going to yarn over again and pull out a loop. So we're going to pull that strand of yarn out of the chain like this, and at this point you should have 4 loops on your hook. From here, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through 2 of the loops, so 1 and 2. You should be left with 3 loops in your hook. We're going to yarn over again and we're going to pull through 2 loops, so 1 and 2, and then you should be left with 2 loops in your hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops to finish our triple crochet. So now at this point you should have the chains we didn't work in, your double crochet, and then your triple crochet. And now we're going to move on to the next chain, which is going to be right in there. In that chain, we're going to do the same thing that we did in that previous chain, where we're going to put 1 double crochet and then 1 triple crochet. Let's start off with our double crochet. We're going to take our hook, we're going to yarn over, place our hook through that next chain, yarn over again, and we're going to pull out a loop. So pull your hook out of the chain. From here you should have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 of the loops, so 1 and 2, and then we're going to yarn over again and pull through those last 2 loops to finish our double crochet, just like that. And then after that double crochet, we'll begin working on the next triple crochet in that same chain. And I'll show you again how to make that triple crochet. So we're going to take our hook and we're going to yarn over twice, so there's 1 and 2, so you should have like 3 strands on your hook. From here, we're going to go ahead and insert our hook through that same chain that we just worked that double crochet into, and then we're going to yarn over and pull our hook out of the chain, so we pull up another loop. At this point you should have 4 loops on your hook. From here, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 of the loops, just like that. You should have 3 loops left on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2 to finish your triple crochet. So now you should be left with something that looks like this: your double crochet and your triple crochet in that last chain you just worked in. And now we'll go ahead and move on to the next chain, and I'll show you again once more how to do your double crochet and your triple crochet in that next chain. So we're going to start off with the double crochet. We're going to take our hook, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook through that next chain, yarn over, and we're going to pull out a loop, so we should be left with 3 loops in our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2 to make your double crochet. After your double crochet, we'll go ahead and make our triple crochet in that same chain. So we're going to yarn over twice for the triple crochet, so there's 1 and 2, so you should have the 3 strands on your hook. And then we're going to take our hook, place it into that chain, yarn over, and then we're going to pull up a loop, so pull our hook out of the chain, and you should be left with 4 loops on your hook. From here, we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 to finish your triple crochet. And just like that, we're going to keep repeating this till we make it all the way down our row of chains, putting 1 double crochet and 1 triple crochet in each of the chains all the way down. And then once we make it to the end, I'll show you what we'll do next. So there's our double crochet, and then we'll go ahead and make our triple crochet, just like this. Alright, I just made it to the very end, and at this point you should have a curly mess. That's how I like to describe it. You can't even look at it because it's just curling up, and that is exactly what you want. So now, after you finish that last row, as you can see in that last chain, I put my double crochet in my triple crochet. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn our work. As you can see, we were working this way. We're just going to go ahead and twist it like this. So we're going to be working on the other side, going the opposite way we just came, if that makes any sense. Now for this row, what we're going to be doing is going to be chaining 3 and then making a single crochet in the top of the stitch. Chaining 3 and then doing a single crochet in the stitch. We're going to start off by chaining 3, and again, to make a chain you'll just yarn over and then pull that strand through the loop you have in your hook to make one chain. So there's 1, 2, and 3. After you make 3 chains, we're going to make a single crochet into this first stitch. And to make a single crochet, we're going to take our hook, place it through the stitch, yarn over, and we're going to pull up a loop. So pull your hook out of that stitch. You should have 2 loops on your hook, and then from here we're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops to make your single crochet. So as you can see, we did 3 chains and then we did a single crochet in that first stitch. After that, we're going to go ahead and chain 3 again. So we're going to yarn over and pull through. There's 1, 2, and 3. After you chain 3, we're going to move on to the next stitch and we're going to make a single crochet in there. And again, to make a single crochet, we'll just take our hook, place it into our stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you should have 2 loops on your hook, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops to make our single crochet. We're going to keep making the chain 3s and then a single crochet in each of these stitches all the way down this entire row. I'll show you again once more how to do that. So we're going to start off by chaining 3, so yarn over and pull through. 1, 2, and 3. After we chain 3, we'll move on to the next stitch and make our single crochet. So we'll take our hook, insert it through our stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So you should have the 2 loops on your hook. And then from here, we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this, making 3 chains and then a single crochet in the next stitch till I make it all the way down to the end of this second row, all the way down this curly thing we have. Alright, I just made it to the end of that row, and as you can see, it is starting to look nice and frilly. As you can see, when we bunch it up, kind of looks like a flower. Alright, so once you make it to the end, after you make your last single crochet, we're going to go ahead and chain 1 like this. And then we'll go ahead and grab our scissors, and we're going to go ahead and trim our yarn. And also, don't forget to leave a few inches of yarn so that way we can sew that tail in a bit easier later. And then to fasten this off, we'll just pull our hook all the way up till our tail comes out like that. And then we'll just pull on that tail to make sure everything's nice and tight. And now you've made a flower. Almost. We just gotta glue it together so it looks pretty. So before we glue this into a flower, I'm gonna go ahead and sew in these ends so that way they're out of the way as we put this together. And to do that, I'm just gonna take a yarn needle and I'm gonna thread my yarn through my needle like this. And then I'll go ahead and take the needle and thread it through a few of these tight stitches. I like to go into the bottom part of the stitch because I find that the yarn stays better in that part. So I'll just go ahead and sew that through like this. And then I like to go the opposite way, back through some of those stitches to make sure everything's nice and tight. Once you sew that in, you can then go ahead and trim the rest of that tail, just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same for the other tail, and then we can glue this together. All right, now to put together this flower, you can do this a whole bunch of different ways. For example, I did these 2 flowers very differently. This pink one, I ended up rolling up together, and it creates this kind of flower thing that, yeah. For the pink one, I ended up just rolling together this curly piece and glued that together, and that will give you this sort of effect. But if you're looking to make more of a ruffly flower like this, I will show you how to do that with this flower. But if you are wanting one that your flower to look like this one, pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to put a little bit of glue here, and then you're going to wrap it, put a little more glue, wrap it, put a little more glue, wrap it, and you're going to continue doing that till it's all the way wrapped together to create kind of like a rose ruffly flower look. And that's how I made this pink one, but this is the way I'm going to show you how to put together your flower. So you're going to first want to untwist your flower here so it lays kind of flat like this, and then from here what you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half like this. And you should have something that looks like this. This is where the two ends are. You just fold it in half like that. And with our hot glue gun, we're gonna go ahead and glue this in place in half. So I like to start on this edge piece where the two ends of our curly piece start. And what I'm gonna do is just place a little bit, I'm just gonna take a little bit of that glue. I think I need more glue. Let me get another stick. I'm just gonna take a little bit of glue. Come on, there we go. And place it on there like that, and then taking the other piece, I'm just gonna glue that like that. So far we just have this part glued together. After you glue that tip together, I'm just gonna open up the side here, and we're gonna glue together just this bottom base of the curly part. So here's like the curly part, and this is where we had started those chains. That's what we're going to be gluing together. So that way we're leaving all this flowy stuff open on the side here. And I'm just going to do that all the way around. Just put a little bit of that glue. And then glue that in place. I know this is really hard to see on camera. Now, of course, if you don't have a glue gun or you prefer sewing together your crochet things, you can of course sew it together the way you want. All right, so once you glue together that piece in half, it should look something like this. And you should be able to still open up this curly part here all the way around because we just glued together that base part right here together, if that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm describing this well, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking this like top layer here and scrunching it together, and I'm seeing if I like that, and it looks pretty round, so that does look good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple pieces of glue and I'm going to put that in the center of our flowers, like one there, one here, and one here. And then taking that spot, I'm going to scrunch that top of it together so it sticks the way I want it. Does that make any sense? I really hope you can see what I'm doing because this is really hard to describe. And of course, make sure you hold that in place long enough so the glue can fully dry. But be careful, you don't want to burn yourself. All right, so now that that is fully dried, it's kind of not fully glued together. I'll probably add more glue to that, but just look at your flower, see if it looks good. If you want to like glue a certain piece down, like for example, I'm gonna put a little piece of glue here so that way it kind of sticks down on this bottom leaf thing, because I think that will look good. There's no right or wrong way to glue this together. It just kind of depends on how it's looking as you make it, because each flower I make, I do have to glue slightly differently because I want to kind of just adjust it the way it starts to look, if that makes sense. They're supposed to look messy, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm kind of liking the way that looks. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here on this petal and then stick that there. I think that'll look good. But pretty much you're just gonna put glue where you want or feel the need to put a little more glue once you get that starting point of your ruffle flower started. And I think I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. So once you have glued together your ruffle flower, and if it looks like a mess, that's even better. Now for the stem of the flower, I use just little pieces of stick that I gather from outside, and I cut them all the same length, and I cut the little leaves and stuff off of them, so I'm just left with some sticks. Now if you don't have access to an outside area that has sticks laying around, you can also use the wooden dowels, which I'll link in the description as well, and those work perfectly fine. I just prefer the way the natural wood looks with the flower because I think it looks really pretty, but use what you have. You don't have to have one or the other. It's just really just what you prefer. Now to glue this together, what I'm going to do is place my flower upside down, of course, and then I like to put glue onto the stick. I like to put a big glob of it like this, and then I will just stick that in the center of my flower, and I just stab it in there and hope it stays. And I also like to look at the front of the flower to make sure it looks fine, but you'll just let that big glob of glue dry like that, and then you'll be left with a pretty flower. And ta-da, now you have crocheted a beautiful frilly looking flower, fluffy, frilly, I don't know what to call it. Now, I didn't add any leaves to these flowers just because I felt like it didn't need it. They already look so pretty. And I plan on keeping these in a vase, so you're not gonna see much of the leaves even if I put some on there. But of course, if you wanna add leaves, you can go ahead and do that. Or you could even wrap the stick with some green yarn if you wanted. There's a whole bunch of stuff you could do with this pattern. I decided to keep it simple today. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a like and let me know down below what color of bouquet of flowers did you decide to make. I did think about adding a purple flower to this bunch, but I don't want it to be too colorful. I still want it to be simple. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!